forest deep inside Bavaria. And according to eyewitness reports, somewhere in this location a Bf-110 crash landed in 1944 with all 3 crew on board. Now the Bf-110 is a very special aircraft used by the Luftwaffe. It was a multi-purpose fighter bomber aircraft, twin-engined, full metal hull, and I've brought my Adelaide Mine Lab metal detector with me. Let's go and have a look, see whether we can find it. Now the Bf-110 was a very important aircraft for the Luftwaffe in World War II. There were 2 main tactics used by Luftwaffe pilots. Because the 110 was a twin-engined aircraft, it was very powerful. It could fly very fast. So the usual tactic was fly as high as possible, look for enemy aircraft. Once spotted, the 110 would very quickly accelerate down and fight the enemy aircraft from behind with its very powerful 4 cannons that it had. If for whatever reason it couldn't engage with the enemy aircraft, or there was some sort of problem, because of its powerful 2 Daimler-Benz engines, it would then accelerate quickly away from the area out of harm's way. It had a very poor turning circle, so it just had to use very quick acceleration to get out of there. Now the BF in the Bf-110 name stems from Bayerische Flugzeugwerke, which means the Bavarian aircraft manufacturer. But its designer, Willy Messerschmitt, began calling it an ME-110 or ME-110, and therefore very often the Bf-110 is referred to as an ME-110. Now, the second tactic used by Luftwaffe pilots was in a Jagdgeschwader, where a singular Bf-110 at low throttle speed would be flying at low altitude all by itself. And this was a way of attracting enemy fighters to it. All the while, a squadron of 110s would be flying well above it, watching out for enemy aircraft. And what would happen is an enemy fighter plane would go in for the kill. The Bf-110 would take off with its twin engines, and then the fighter planes would then be subject to an attack from above. It worked very well, particularly in Poland. (5,760) Bf-110s were manufactured. 5,760. Only 2 remain, one in Berlin and one in London. So finding a Bf-110 or any relic thereof is something quite spectacular. Let's have a look. It's always like a birthday present, this. Whatever this is, it's not very big. So we're starting off with a very small fragment. Okay, this is definitely a piece of German aircraft. It's very lightweight aluminium, and I didn't bring a brush with me, but here's our first piece of a Luftwaffe German World War II Bf 110. It's quite incredible. Just on the surface of this ground there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces of fragments of the Bf 110. It's just everywhere. When this aircraft hit the ground, it literally went to pieces. Well, I've worked up a little bit of a sweat, but that's okay because I've found some incredible pieces here. Some sort of buckle, or perhaps housing for some cockpit switching. Some sort of hose clamp assembly. Ammunition, a couple of rounds I've found. This is quite incredible. This is what can only be part of the seat of the Bf 110. And I would have thought that they would have had leather seats, but I don't think leather would have survived this long. So this may in fact be vinyl, some sort of man-made leather. So on this seat would have been one of the three pilots. Now, the Bf 110 began its life with 2 crew, was later expanded to 3, particularly in the use of night missions. Probably the most astonishing find of the day is this. Now, it looks shabby, it looks ridiculous, but this to me looks like the woolen back part of the pilot's seat. Very traditional because of the high altitudes for Luftwaffe pilots to have this sort of backing to their seat simply for warmth, and this is most definitely part of the crashed Bf 110 pilot's seat. And out of respect for history and out of respect for the crew that died here, who in German have Helden taught, let's put this stuff back and make sure it stays on this hallowed ground.